Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today we will be going over days 4 through 6 of my Going Pro adventure. Starting off with day 4, I think it would only be right to mention that on day 3 I had gotten sick as I stated in the last video, which gave me tons of free time since I was at home for all of these days. So if it seems like I made a lot of ground with these days, well, it's because I did. I was free to grind for hours at a time since I was bedbound. And when I mean hours, I mean hours, which we will get into later. But as I mentioned, starting off, I got far enough in the main quest where I had reached our first goal of being level 150. From there, I figured it was time to make some money, so I do the first thing everyone in the game recommends, which was to make a luck mage so I could farm. For anyone who isn't familiar with the game, a luck mage is a mage that specializes in obtaining the most amount of drops through a few methods. One of the methods is to use an AoE spell that can take out multiple mobs all at once. This helps with time management. If you're a one-handed sword character or one sword, whatever you want to call it, or a katana player, you would probably have to fight 1v1 against mobs. You don't really have all that many AoE attacks that attack multiple mobs all at once, yielding you low rewards for a lot of time spent. Again, AoEs allow for you to take out multiple mobs at once. As for the next method, they increase their chances to obtain drops by increasing their luck. While there are a few ways to do this, the two main ways is to use your optional stat in the stat point allocation screen and choose luck as your optional stat. Increasing this will increase your drop rate by 1% for every 5 points in luck, according to the Coring Club. It also does prevent degradation of items during the refinement process by 75% when maxed, which is important for you since you're going to be refining a lot of your own equipment. But there's also a skill that you can learn in the survival skill tree that also increases your luck. So taking this luck mage, I run to Nisal Mountain and I do level it up to level 36. The way I do this is I first do go to the library and I buy a couple skills. So I buy it like the wizard skills, the mage skills, and just a couple of those skills. And I give it the Familia skill and the Blizzard skill, so you can kind of just go to whether it's Nisal Mountain or whatever it is that you're going to level up. And Blizzard is a very cheap AoE skill, and it'll pretty much one-shot all the low-level mobs. So very easy to level up. I should also mention that the staff that I was using for my mage was the Lil Empress staff that you can craft at the blacksmith in Sophia City. You can get it through drops from Lil Empress or Vanina or whatever her name is. But I crafted it because I was not about to sit there and farm forever. But as I mentioned, I was farming in Nisal Mountain until about level 36. From there, I moved on to the Ancient Empress Tomb, and I farmed the Bone Dragonoots till about level 55. Once I did that, I poured all of my stats into the luck stat, and then I set out for the ruined Temple Town. Once in ruined Temple Town, I found a party of random players to farm birdwings with, and did nothing but farm for the rest of day 4. One thing I want to mention about Toram is that when it comes to making money, you need to have patience. Without it, you will stay broke. Luckily for me, I had all of the time in the world because I was sick, and an iPad so I could just watch YouTube while farming. When it came to farming birdwings, I did do a couple little minor tests to just see how long it would take to farm me a full bag of birdwings. And it really did not take all that time, only taking me about 30 minutes to farm about 50 stacks, which isn't all that much. It isn't all that much time. And selling each stack at 6,000 or 16,000 nets you about 14,448 spin in return after tax, at least for when I was selling it, meaning that a full bag is worth about 722,400 spinna. Yeah, you can literally earn nearly 1 million spinna within 1 hour of playing Toram. we don't need we don't need spinna making guides. It is so easy to make spinna in this game. But I'm sure that there are going to be a couple people who are like, okay, yeah, farming it isn't all that much, but selling it, that takes time. Well, another thing I did was I timed how fast it would take to sell all 11 stacks, since the consignment board has 11 slots. and it barely took like 10 minutes to sell all of them. So within any given day, you could make millions of spinna. And again, it takes patience, but the payoff for this virtue is massive. So, with Corey Kenshin as a distraction, I sat there and farmed for hours. If I have to be specific, I believe I started around 11 o'clock in the afternoon and I didn't stop till 2 in the morning. I have no life. But look, I was sick, okay? And what else should I do? So that is what, like 15-ish hours of back and forth farming. So you could say I made a good amount of money, which you will see later. One thing that I should mention is that within this time, I was asking my guildmates in Discord what items I should use for my mage builds, right? And this conversation happened, which I put the screenshots on screen. But for those of y'all who don't want to read it, essentially what happened was a guildmate was being very generous and decided to give me his old magic device, which for him, he says, it's whatever. But for me, at least where I was at in the game, it's very OP. So of course, I accepted their offer and I took it. For the sake of the challenge, though, I did decide I would let it sit in my storage in, where you can go to the shop or the store, and there's a storage there. I decided to let it sit there for the sake of the challenge. I told myself that until I made 5 million spinna, I would not use it. So it shouldn't be a surprise that only like not even like a few hours later, I had 5 million spinna because again, you can earn so much money in the game. Once I had enough spinna, I decided to upgrade my equipment. Really good equipment costs a lot of money, but I was only looking for decent equipment. We don't really need great equipment now. We will worry about that later. In fact, I just kind of want to hint at this. I want to create my own equipment, which is going to be one of the goals for some other thing. But that's something we'll talk about later. But yeah, I was only looking for decent equipment, and I ended up spending around 3 million ish spin off for new equipment for my night build, which proved to be a worthwhile investment. I even have a video showing me soloing Iconos, Iconos, whatever you want to call him. I don't know why I can't pronounce his name, but soloing him and I think I even managed to do it with no potions in less than a minute. So yeah, worthwhile investment. Starting off on day 5, I did continue to do a bit of farming, but I didn't go as hard as I did on day 4. With day 4, it was nothing but farming. But with this, what I ended up doing was I was kind of switching back and forth between farming and messing around with the dual wield character I made for fun, because Kirito and Sword Art Online, and who's not gonna at least try dual wielding, even if it's just for fun. While this is what I did for most of day 5, I was doing some research, which was just mostly watching a lot of spin and making tutorials, all of which share the same information. To be fair, there isn't anything wrong with that. I mean, if everyone is telling you that farming bubble angels or Nemicos is what makes you money, then it's what makes you money. Listen to them. But there was one video that did catch my eye. In that video, there was a spin and making tactic that I was not aware of that everybody needs to know. See, by going to your land and creating a fishing workbench, you can craft fishing rods that are used to fish in Toram. While it's not the fish that are necessarily worth something, it's the other stuff that's worth fishing. Among valuables like orb shards and ticket pieces, you can get an object called a sunken object. This item can be obtained by any player of any level by completing fishing objectives. Once obtained, it could be sold for 3 million spinna. And I got one within an hour of farming, which I'll put a screenshot up on screen. I don't know why I'm struggling to say screenshot. I'm struggling to speak in general. But by the end of day 5, with the sunken object and birdwing sales, I was sitting on about 14 million spinna, which technically makes us 2 for 3 when it comes to completing our goals to become an intermediate player. And I must mention that again, 14 million spinach seems like such a crazy amount of money, but in hindsight, at first it did. 10 million was our goal, and I expected it to be pretty hard to achieve. But again, in hindsight, with how easy it is to make money, when you're capable of making almost a million spinach within an hour using basic tactics that everyone knows, 14 million isn't all that much, especially with how equipment sells. You're going to be spending all that very, very soon. I mean, it really isn't all that much. But I just wanted to state that. Finally, on day 6, I decided to use my spinner to upgrade my mage's equipment, which cost me around 6 million total, alongside a random ninth anniversary sword, which was added into the 6 million total. But essentially, what I did was I farmed most of day 6, bringing us back from about 8 million spinner to 15 million spinner. Now, I've said my piece with the whole spinner situation. I thought it was going to be pretty hard to farm spinner, especially with how a lot of people kind of beg. I see it happen sometimes. People are begging for even 1 million spinner, which it's just like you could at level 1 go and earn 1 million spinner within an hour. But here's the thing, it's like you're probably not making nearly as much money begging as you would just going out and farming. Like, you could go out and get B Wings, a whole stack, easy, with free to play weapons. Like my equipment now isn't so free to play. It's not so newbie friendly because it's like it's got really good stuff on it. But like when I first started farming, for me to earn the 5 million spinner required for me to allow myself to use a magic device, I used a craftable weapon. I used a craftable staff, and I earned 5 million spinner quick. It was really quick. So I was just very uh is befuddled a good word? I was surprised to see how easy it was to earn this much money. I mean, it really isn't all that hard. But I'll say that one goal out of the, like I mentioned earlier, we were 2 for 3. So we had reached level 150 and we had earned over 10 million spinner. But the only goal that I feel like we haven't really achieved yet was the making a viable build one. See, what I want to do is I want to make a viable build that, I mean, I guess I kind of have one with the knight build, but I want to make a viable build that's going to assist my other characters in growth. So possibly like a tank character, or probably like a tank slash two-handed sword character. But I just feel like when it comes to my knight build, he's probably my best build in the sense that he could take a hit, but and also deal a bit of damage. But he's not completing the game as he is now. And as for my dual wielding character, I mean, no, there's no way he's completing the game as he is now. As much damage as he deals, he's just too squishy. And I just need to get better at that. So I need to figure out what build I want to do. But it's something I'm gonna have to figure out within the next few days. Hopefully in the next 2 days. Because I do have time then. But I want to know what you guys think. I mean, we've for 2 for 3, we've got 2 of the goals completed. I just need to figure out a build to help my other characters, because it's not just enough to have a dual wielding character that deals 1 million damage. You need to have, I feel like, a character that's going to help the rest of your characters grow. It's going to make it easier for you later on. That's what what I believe a viable build would help with. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you think of my progress? Am I doing good? I spent hours on the game. Please. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.